Welcome to Against the Spread, where we're going to give you your picks against the spread right here on Sportsnet. On sportsnet.ca, he's going to have the remaining games this week all picked for you. We're going to break down three, because as you saw, we already gave you a couple this Thursday. And let's start with two teams that are pretty similar. Seahawks going to Carolina. Both teams like to run the ball, like to play great defense. Carolina the favorite at home by 3.5. Do you like that number?
It's a hard number because, like you said, these teams are very similar, and they're also similar in the way that they're really good at home and suspect on the road. And we've seen that from Carolina the last 2 weeks, where they've put up a couple duds on the road. But they're going home. They're 5-0 at home and 4-1 against the spread. And I like them to cover the 3.5, which is a bit of a risky pick, but I like it because the Seahawks go on the road, and they've only beat a couple of teams on the road, the Raiders and the Cardinals, who aren't very good. So I think that's going to be the reason why the Carolina Panthers come out on top.
Yeah, I think this number actually would probably be more in favor of Carolina. Ron Rivera just played for overtime and didn't throw a game away, honestly, and went for a 2-point. It's a bad loss against Detroit, something people are still thinking about. These two teams are similar because I also have two guys named D. Moore in fantasy that you want to add as wide receiver ads that might help you win your league. But I think the Panthers win the game. McCaffrey has been much better over the last couple weeks, not just catching but running the football. I think offensively they're a bit more balanced, even though Carson helps Seattle come back in their running attack. I like Carolina, even though the number is pretty close. I think it's not much more than a field goal game, but still like Carolina to win. NFC North matchup between two teams who are kind of disappointing, but still in it. And if they go on a run, could maybe make a run and win that division. If not, grab a wild card spot. Minnesota hosting Green Bay. The public is actually with Green Bay, even though Minnesota is favored by 3.5. Who do you like?
I'm with the public because I can't bet against Aaron Rodgers at this point in the season. This is where, he'll say relax and the team will go on a run and they'll make the playoffs, and I'm just not willing to bet against that happening, especially against a Vikings team that I'm not convinced by at all. They can't run the ball at all. They can't really protect Kirk Cousins, and when they do, he throws pick sixes. So I think that the Packers will make that run. Whether they make the playoffs or not is maybe a different question, but I think they'll be there come Week 17. I think it starts this week.
Yeah, Minnesota yet to win a game against a team that's above 500. Now, the Packers aren't above 500, but I feel like they should be. They got a long week to prepare. Jimmy Graham looking to play with his injured thumb. So I'll take the Packers in this game. I'm with you. I trust Aaron Rodgers more than I trust Kirk Cousins, Mike Zimmer, anyone with Minnesota right now. So if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that we'd be at this point in the season and there was an AFC South matchup that didn't have the Jaguars in it, didn't have Andrew Luck in it, and it was in prime time and I would care, I would have said you're crazy. But here we are. Titans at Texans, and I do care, and the Texans are 5.5-point favorites at home. Is that too many points for you?
It is too many points, and I might regret this come Monday, but I think I'm going to go with the Titans. And it all hinges on Mariota playing and him being healthy. They, outside of last week where they got smoked, tend to hang around in games, especially division games. And the Texans, although they've won 7 in a row, have kept it close in the last couple, winning by just a combined 4 points in the last 2 games. So if Mariota plays and they're able to play good defense, I could see this being a field goal game either way.
Yeah, these two teams are also pretty similar. They've come out of the mold, literally, of the Patriots. Now, they're not at that level yet, but both staffs have come from New England and trying to build teams in that likeness. I think the Texans are closer to getting to that point than the Titans are, and it's because of the quarterback position. The play of the quarterback, I think Watson's better than Mariota at this point, but I also think even if Mariota plays, how many plays is he going to be in the game for? I'm not sure I've seen a quarterback who's had more injuries early in his career than Marcus, and I'm not sure I've seen in one season a guy who's had more injuries to his arms, which he needs to throw, than Marcus. So I like Watson. I like the fact that even though they started 0-3, they've run off 7 straight. I think the Texans, even at 5.5, are a better bet. Survivor pick time, and I think for the first time this year, we're on the same team. First of all, I'm just happy that we're still picking at this point. I know why I like the Ravens. Why do you like them?
I like the Ravens because they're playing the Raiders. I don't think it makes a difference whether Lamar Jackson or Joe Flacco plays this week. The Raiders are traveling to Baltimore to play against one of the best defenses in the league, and I just don't see how they're going to come out of there with a win. So, Ravens.
I agree. I mean, I don't think Flacco's going to play with that hip injury, but to your point, I don't think it matters if Lamar Jackson or RG3 plays this week. I mean, we talked about the fact that Lamar Jackson had 26 carries, the most by a quarterback since the 1970 merger, and he rushed for 117 yards, the most by a rookie, or the second most by a rookie quarterback since the merger. The guy who had the most was RG3. So either way, I think the game plan is going to be the same, to run the ball with the quarterback, and regardless of the game plan, the Raiders, I do not believe, can stop it.